go ahead and see what these players open up with. We see Zachary go out with the Ninetales and the King Gambit as the Golden Go Dragonite comes out over on Justin's end.
Yeah, so one thing about the Golden Go on Justin's end is we saw him use Trick continuously in the last stream match that he was on. And Trick is a really nice move because not only do you steal away an item, then it gives you flexibility on what move to go for afterwards, right? So Golden Go's in this interesting position right now. Ninetales also is threatening with a ton of offense into that Dragonite, right? I think Ninetales is actually such a pivotal Pokemon in this matchup, but it often can only get like one really big attack off because it's not the bulkiest of Pokemon. And so Zachary, I think in order to win this set, would need to have good play with the Ninetales specifically, especially because of that point you called out where like this Archaludon otherwise might be too difficult to deal with. And so we actually see Justin going for a defensive play here. And yeah, Trick into King Gambit just means that it shuts down any Swords Dance shenanigans and it gets around the potential of a Sucker Punch. And so I really like this play because now you have two things that resist the Blizzard and the King Gambit's not going to be able to do very much.
We go and see the Protect on the Ninetales not wanting to take a Make It Rain and be knocked out without the Focus Sash. We see the King Gambit not take the bait and not go for the Sucker Punch here. Going to get hit with the Trick first, so that means no Swords Dances options, or especially if he does, then he'll be stuck with it. Countdown Cleave, so perhaps reading that move from the Golden Go, but it survives. So yeah, despite having the Choice Specs item, we see even with the HP stat that is very bulky, so perhaps this is something that they trained for, especially with no Black Glasses anymore. The King Gambit's offensive prowess is reduced and also does not have the option to go for a priority move anymore.
Yeah, nice play by Zachary though. Does not get caught in the Trick Trap, right? If you go for Swords Dance there, then you are just in a really tough position and gets a ton of damage. This Fire Terra generally pretty safe as well. The Ursaluna that Justin has on his team is really scary, but Justin actually didn't bring it in this matchup, and so this King Gambit might pose to be a pretty big problem. Blizzard's going to come out here. Golden Go doesn't have the ability to protect itself, and it just ends up fainting here. So I think Zach is off to a strong start. My question is, you know, will a Heat Wave in return get the knockout onto Ninetales?
Yeah, Ninetales not really known for its defensive prowess, but
did it miss?
We see a miss on the Ninetales. Big miss. King Gambit able to resist that attack, so definitely, I think from Justin's perspective, wanted to see it go on the other side. And thanks to the Fire Terrestrialization, no threat of Flame Body here. So Volcarona eating its berry, going back to about half of its health. But I think Zachary is very happy with how that turn played out.
Yeah, I am curious because this Volcarona is not exactly like a super offensive set based on its, you know, items and its moves. But Ninetales also isn't the bulkiest of Pokemon. And so Ninetales being able to stick around for an extra turn is a really big deal here, right? It means you can get another Blizzard off. And King Gambit, yeah, it's got the choice specs, but it's happy to just click Kowtow Cleave anyway, right? And once again, without that Ursaluna Blood Moon in the back, you're not threatening it with super effective damage with an Earth Power. And so Ninetales actually pivoting for Protect here, saying, look, I know that I can buy some time with the Ninetales and it's really good with the Dragonite. Let me try to KO your Volcarona right now. But Volcarona crucially goes for that Tailwind, and now the speed advantage definitely in Justin's favor.
Yeah, and we see the Archaludon with the Flash Cannon into the Ninetales. Zachary saying, this is my only special Pokemon on my team. I need to keep it so to finish off your Archaludon at the very end. We see the Kowtow Cleave come out onto the Volcarona, get the knockout. So yeah, Zach still on his leads, whereas Justin is back down to his last two Pokemon, both being pretty susceptible to Ninetales' attacks. So I think Justin really needs to take advantage of these three Tailwind turns.
But now you've got the self-scale shot Flash Cannon play, right? And so it's like Archaludon in itself feels like it actually 1v4 Zachary's team. So I think what Zachary needs to do is probably switch out the Ninetales right now and conserve it for the end game. I think setting up that Tailwind means that Dragonite will be able to move before the Ninetales. It won't eat up that Life Orb Blizzard. And so this was the win condition you talked about, Yuki, coming into this one. And yeah, so Zachary recognizes, okay, Ninetales is literally my only special attacker. I've got to save this for after Tailwind ends. Rillaboom going to be the Pokemon to come in. So I think what Zach will probably want to do these next couple of turns is target down the Dragonite slot, get rid of that, get into an endgame with Ninetales. But even though Justin's down 2-4, still not in a terrible position. Okay, it does.
So we see Scale Shot happen. So we're going to see a lot of animations of the attack going through and the stamina activating. So guaranteed to hit at least 4 times, meaning the defense will go up by 4 stages. I think this is the 4th hit here. I think Justin crossing his fingers for no critical hits here, and we see the 5th hit happen. So it is up to +5 in its defensive stats. So Body Press going to do a ton of damage now. We see Dragonite lose defense, which is definitely relevant here with the Kowtow Cleave being thrown over by the King Gambit. Flash Cannon, not as strong of a move compared to the Body Press now, not doing too much damage to Rillaboom, and we close out to see the Dragonite getting hit by the Kowtow Cleave.
Yeah, and so Rillaboom now hits the field, obviously has Fake Out available to it. The body press from Archaldon obviously will do a lot of damage here as well. I think with Fake Out active, you have to respect something like Fake Out plus Kowtow Cleave in a Dragonite, so you want to protect to get around that. And then the Archaldon here can freely launch a body press, right? And so it feels tense right now. I think the lack of ability to go for a Sucker Punch makes it a little bit better for Justin, but he is potentially like one more Kowtow Cleave away from getting knocked out, right? So first question I have here is, do we see Fake Out into the Archaldon?
Yeah, I think the Fake Out does go into the Archaldon, so able to boost its defense one last time to max defense. So, yeah, we see it flinch. Which way does the Kingambit go? It goes into the Kowtow Cleave into the Dragonite, so wanting to respect it, potentially not going for a Protect. And now, yeah, I think this is the one turn that Justin has, like, you know, full power on the Archaldon, able to attack with the Dragonite. Neither Pokemon on Zachary's end able to protect, so I believe this is also the last turn of Tailwind. So, yeah, this is the last turn for Justin to really take advantage before the Ninetales can come back in and do a ton of damage.
Yeah, and I think what's tricky here is you have the ability to, yeah, double up onto the Kingambit very safely. Rillaboom's actually going to pivot out. That allows you to reset Fake Out, but yeah, it's like at best you could maybe go for a Wood Hammer. And it's actually going to be the Sneasler as the last Pokemon. That's a big one because you get that Unburden boost, meaning that even with Dragonite skill shots, you'll be able to outpace it, which is a really big deal because even as Kingambit goes down, next turn you can bring out Rillaboom, Fake Out into the Archaldon, and then angle to knock out Dragonite the subsequent turn, right? And so we're going to see the skill shots come out. Kingambit's going down this turn, but I think Sneasler being able to come in for free here is a really big deal.
That's right. So, yeah, force shots, defense going down even more for Dragonite, but as you said, with the Sneasler having the Unburden boost, it is going to be able to outpace it as the Tailwind expires this turn. So now it's Zach's turn to have a bit more of a proactive stance here. With the defense boost, defenses down on Dragonite, definitely going to be susceptible to an attack from the Sneasler. So now my question is, okay, does Archaldon, is it going to be able to do the 3v2?
Yes, yeah, exactly. And the other thing I'm thinking about, it's actually Ninetales out first. I was thinking Zach could go Rillaboom there and then like Fake Out Archaldon and just Dire Claw on a Dragonite. Dragonite protects, but then the next turn you could just go for another Dire Claw. So I was actually kind of surprised to not see that. This now means that Dragonite, well, yeah, I guess you're still facing down the Dire Claw. So he's going to go for the Protect, but then like Protect into Flash Cannon is a play into Ninetales. You could Protect Draco Meteor as well. And so, does Draco Meteor get the one-hit knockout onto the Sneasler? Like, probably not. So it's going to be the Protect Flash Cannon Hover.
Right.
We'll
One
see.
thing that's notable is that Sneasler's typically not known to be a bulky Pokemon, but actually this situation, it's actually very bulky, right? It has the Grassy Seed,
that's right,
and the Body Press is going to be resisted by the Sneasler, so even if it's at +6, I think the Body Press might not be enough to knock out the Sneasler. So let's see both players protecting the Dragonite and the Ninetales respectively. The Sneasler going for the Dire Claw, trying to get that KO onto the Dragonite. Let's see this Archaldon, where it is targeting, is going for the Flash Cannon into the Ninetales. So both players basically just having a moot turn here. I don't know. I think Justin, does he go for the double protect?
Yeah, maybe, honestly. Like, it felt like in either scenario, which it's Rillaboom or Ninetales out on the field, you kind of have to go for it, but he's actually opting for Tailwind. This means you can Tailwind Flash Cannon. Yep. But you're just going to get outsped by the Sneasler, right? Like, Dire Claw, unless the Sneasler is, like, super slow here.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what way you could be training your Sneasler for that to happen, so we'll see how that goes. But we see the Ninetales being switched out, so Zachary noticing, yeah, like, I know you're going to focus on my Ninetales because that's going to be the only one that can do a ton of damage to my Archaldon. Yep, Dire Claw going to pick up the Dragonite at -2. And yeah, we see the Archaldon probably going to go for the Flash Cannon as we saw locked in. So really good play by Zachary, like 2 times in this game alone, able to dodge that Flash Cannon that would have been lethal onto the Ninetales, taking it with the Rillaboom. And now with the grassy terrain gone, I think, yeah, Zach is pretty happy about that because that's less recovery for the Archaldon that is actually back to full health. I don't think we actually realized this, but even though it took 5, scale shots and a Fake Out, it is back to full health.
Yeah, it is interesting because, like, not one Blizzard isn't going to do it, right? So it's going to be Fake Out Close Combat. How much does this do? That's actually a pretty good amount. Yeah.
For a Pokemon that's at his max possible defensive stat from the boost, that's a pretty respectable amount. And thanks to the Fake Out, the Archaldon is not going to be able to attack this turn. Just a really excellent timing for Zachary to bring in the Rillaboom to shut down the grassy terrain for the Archaldon to not be able to recover anymore and have access to that Fake Out.
Yeah, I also really like the decision to go Rillaboom there because, like you said, there was the potential of a double protect, and if Dragonite got it and you lose your Ninetales, you actually probably lose the game. And so, really, really well played by Zachary. Sneasler's just going to protect itself here. You get a free high horsepower. Like, every little bit of damage adds up because at this point the Archaldon can't heal itself.
Wow.
up even being the right call. Not sure that one really mattered because it's like if you knock out the Rillaboom, then Ninetales comes out for free and then you get Blizzard. Sure. And you can see here the turns of Snow actually also work out perfectly where then it gets reset. But yeah, I think like Archaludon, even though it's so boosted, not being able to threaten that one-hit knockout onto Sneasler is actually quite a big deal. I was wondering if Draco Meteor potentially could have secured that knockout earlier, but we did not see a Draco into that slot. And so it's going to be another close combat. Despite, like you said, +6, it's actually now down to basically a quarter of its health.
Yeah, wow, it was just back at full health earlier, and now it's down to essentially red. We see Sneasler getting picked up, which is big for Justin. The Pokemon were able to threaten the most damage on the board, but really, I think what Justin wanted to do was KO the Ninetales a little bit earlier so that this exact endgame does not happen. This Ninetales is in full force, being able to do a single target Blizzard with the Snow, guaranteeing that the attack will hit. And I think it's going to be Zachary to take this first game as we see, oh, maybe not a forfeit. Oh, we see the forfeit locked in here.
Yeah, my main question was Justin also had that Fighting Terra available. Like, he didn't Terra at all in this game, and I was wondering if, like, +6 Fighting Terra body press could get the knockout onto Sneasler. Probably not, right? Because it had the Grassy Seed active, but yeah, I think it's like Sneasler not going down meant that it was able to outspeed Dragonite despite Dragonite getting the speed boosts. And so, like I said, I felt like conservation of Ninetales was going to be a really big deal in this matchup, and it was exerting a lot of pressure, but crucially, it dodged that Heat Wave early on in the game, and yeah, I would think that it would get the knockout, but I don't know. Sometimes these Volcaronas have like no special attack investment at all, right? And so, like Ninetales is not exactly like, it is frail, but I could see a world in which the Pokemon are trained and like Ninetales can survive there. And I think the key thing here is that Justin went for that trick initially, and the King Gambit just kept clicking Kowtow Cleave, and it got 3 huge Kowtow Cleaves into Golden Go and as well as Volcarona.
I love how you brought that up because I felt like King Gambit was like the secret star of the show.
Yeah,
like at the very end, it's like
Choice Specs King Gambit was the star of the show, you know?
Like the flashy one was Ninetales, right, who came at the end and says, yeah, I'm going to Blizzard you, I'm going to get the KO on your, despite all your stamina boost. But actually the King Gambit took so many resources away from Justin, right? Like he had to attack him multiple times. He had to go for Trick instead of a damaging move from the Goldengo. Goldengo taking, 95% of its health in return. I think the trade went super favorably for Zach. So I think Justin moving into this game, he has to think, okay, how can I trade favorably into this King Gambit, not invest too many resources into it while still getting that Archaludon endgame setup? Because I think that is a really good win condition for Justin, right?
Exactly, yeah. And one of the things is we saw that Fire Terra commit on King Gambit. That's really great against what Justin brought, but Ursaluna is able to hit that for super effective both before and after Terra. Justin opted to not bring that in the matchup at all. Didn't feel like Goldengo was honestly super great in that last game. It's good specifically in dealing with that Ninetales, but it's like Zach is really good at playing defensively with the Ninetales, and he's not even going to lead it this time around. It's going to be the Sneasler and King Gambit, and Ursaluna has hit the field this time around.
Yeah, and I like the adjustment from Justin's end saying, okay, the King Gambit was a problem for me, and I'm going to be able to hit you whether you go to Terra or not. If you Terrestrialize, I'm going to be able to hit you with an Earth Power regardless, and if you don't, then my Heat Wave is going to do a lot of damage. So I really like this adjustment over from Justin's end. On Zach's end, yeah, I guess making a little bit of ambiguity as we see the switch out from the King Gambit saying, okay, I have 2 Pokemon that can set up here. Are you going to be able to guess which one I'm going to, potentially protect and pivot in the Rillaboom so that I can get that action going?
Yeah, and so it's going to be, of course, the Grassy Seed activating here, and the Sneasler does threaten both with a potential knockout. You can go Flying Terra Acrobatics, regular Acrobatics, or Close Combat, but it's actually going to be Protect, and so I like this play by Zachary because now you pivot in Rillaboom for Fake Out next turn, which allows you to go Fake Out into Ursaluna, Flying Terra Acrobatics. Volcarona can't protect itself. Volk's counterplay then could be to switch out or, go for a Terra, but nice play by Zachary on turn 1. Manages to get Rillaboom in for free and bypasses that Blood Moon, which is actually a big deal because now it means if you Flying Terra Sneasler, Ursaluna can't even hit it for a one-hit knockout this next turn.
Yeah, that would be a big thing to exploit this turn. The Sneasler, fortunately for Justin, does not have Swords Dance, so there's no mind game of, okay, is the Sneasler going to Swords Dance, is going to close combat and have some ambiguity. It only has the ability to attack, so the Pokemon on Zach's side, or on Justin's side, is still threatened by both the Acrobatics and the Close Combat respectively. But yeah, great switch into Goldengo here. Pokemon that is notoriously good into Sneaslers that especially do not have the Throat Chop. So let's see, we have the Terastallization coming out here onto the Sneasler, into the Flying Terastallization. Good call from Aaron, how we won't have any damage coming out to the Sneasler from the Ursaluna. So maybe this is just going to be an attack onto the Volcarona, taking advantage of this powered up acrobatics. Let's see if this is going to get the KO.
Oh,
big KO. Is the flame
is there a
activate?
burn?
No.
Oh,
burn.
wow, what a start for Zachary here. Yeah, and like, opting not to even fake out, right? Just going for the wood hammer instead, saying like, okay, are you really going to stay in and go for normal Terra? Like, that's your only way around to survive the turn, right? And so, amazing start to the game for Zachary here. And even though Golden goes pretty nice into Sneasler, like that Woodhammer damage is non-trivial. And now it's Archaludon Ursaluna in the back. There's no means of speed control anymore. You can't boost your own Archaludon either. That's also really tricky. Like, I'm kind of surprised to see Golden go here. I was thinking like you drop the Golden go for the Ursaluna here. So Ursaluna comes out, but wow, the way Zach navigated the first 2 turns of this game was honestly beautiful.
Yeah, and one thing to point out here is that actually we saw the grassy turn recovery happen first on the Rillaboom and then the Goldengo. So unless there's some speed tie happening, this Rillaboom should be able to attack before the Goldengo. And yeah, clearly this Goldengo is trained to be very, very bulky, but if Zach decides to double up into the Goldengo doesn't have any protect up its sleeve to be able to evade that attack. So yeah, if Zach wants to, this Goldengo could be gone by the end of this turn. But we see the Translation coming out from Justin. Certainly not a defensive Translation since it is going to be still susceptible to this close combat, but being able to dish out a ton of damage with its normal tap moves. And Zach going for a bit of a passive turn with the Protect here. Let's see what this Rillaboom goes for. It goes for the high horsepower. Is going to get the KO. Oh, it's barely going to survive. This Goldengo is going to fire back with its Make It Rain. Not going to connect onto the Sneasler, but going to do some big damage onto this Rillaboom. Yep, doing about 60% of its health. Let's see what this Ursaluna is going for, the Hyper Voice. Let's see if the Rillaboom is able to hang on here. The Assault Vest item going to boost his special defense, but this Ursaluna has Terastallized and has a Life Orb. Oh, and it's out of here.
Gets the knockout, but it's a really safe play by Zachary there, right? High horsepower always guaranteed to do so much damage to the Golden Go, even if you Terra it, because it's a Terra Steel. Like you called out, knowing that you're faster with Rillaboom means you can make that play with good confidence. And Zachary says, I'm going to protect my Sneasler because I know I'm not necessarily like going to knock out your Golden Go, right? I have to double up to get the knockout, and I also want to bait out an attack from Ursaluna. Baiting out both the attack and the Terra, really big deal. King Gambit now hits the field. That's pressuring with a Sucker Punch into the Golden Go slot, right? So you can obviously just Sucker Punch Golden Go, close combat into the Ursaluna. Then if you're Justin, you may want to go for a Protect with Ursaluna or bank on surviving a close combat and switch out into Archaludon like he's hovering right now and try to get the knockout onto one of these 2 Pokemon. So let's see if Sneasler's just going for what should be the safe close combat onto Ursaluna. First of all, does it get the knockout? If not, does Zachary double up into it? And it is going to be Sucker Punch, okay?
So going to be evaded with the switch out here. Is it close combat? Gonna hit the Ursaluna? Is it gonna survive?
Yeah,
no,
it's a KO.
Wow, so that's a big knockout. So no damage coming out from Justin's side, and the Goldengo is going to come out. Again, not having access to Protect means that Zach has a very safe KO into that slot if he decides. And now it's just going to be Archaludon against the world. It's going to be a 3v1 this time, but if it's a Ninetales in the back, it might not be enough.
Yeah. And you can see, yeah, Justin recognizes. I think he's like, I think it's over. I was wondering if he could do anything by going for like a trick there that turn.